I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I wasn't prepared to make this. I'm watching CNN in case you're wondering at all here. Let me turn it down a minute because they're talking about Virginia Governor Northram. I don't know that much about him, and I'll go ahead and say I didn't agree at all with the. Excuse me, I'm eating popcorn. I just get upset with what's been done to me and this lousy press that's up there like they're soul of nice people and everything when they're nothing but liars and killers for what they've deleted and not told the truth. They frame what they want to be the truth. They read from whatever card they read from and they draw their check and that's it. CNN knew all about me down in Atlanta. Back then it was Turner, became CNN, and I think Time Warner bought them out. Doesn't matter. All the press has known about who my father is, Edward VIII, married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe from Madison, Wisconsin, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. Okay, he was taken down because he would not go along with the Illuminati and take orders. Decent man. Look what history's done to him because of this friggin' press that's still here today doing this lies about, I feel, okay, let me say this. I don't know if Northam did that or not, Governor Northam. I will say he's using the term, he's not the one in that picture photo. Okay, I'm going to go back and use this. My dad had an imposter that the Illuminati and this great president, Kennedy, JFK became president. Okay, he was sent, his father, by Roosevelt, FDR, to the United Kingdom, to England as U.S. ambassador for the sole purpose of taking down my father and helping the Illuminati, which Roosevelt, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, my own Uncle George, the illegal six, you got them appointing who's taking out the real monarch and helping kidnap me at age 2 because my father had made legal arrangements he never meant to leave. Wallace Simpson, American Spy. Excuse me, I'm eating popcorn. It just upsets me to hear the lies pour out of these people's mouth like they're this soul of honesty and caring, and they're a bunch of low-life scumbags. And yes, I did say that, and that doesn't even come close to fitting them. If you ever hear all this, you're gonna... You know what I mean? They're calling it racist. What do they think Martin Luther King partnered with Kennedy? He partnered with Andrew Young, the preacher, Reverend. Both these, King was a reverend. They knew all about me. I lived in Alabama trying to work my way through high school, waitressing 7 days a week, walking and taking the hell that they'd kidnapped me and brought me over here at age 2. My father, let me go back to that, had made arrangements that if he had an heir and it was legal, the heir would inherit. So I was born. I think they didn't think my father being his age and my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, would have an heir. I got popcorn. Oh, I got to pick it out. Thank you. I'm not going to do this over. I'm just so sick from some stuff. I mean, I'm really sick from some other stuff I've around here. But anyway, I can't take these self-righteous hypocrites sitting up there um, talking about Governor Northam, who I haven't, he's a doctor. I don't have that much opinion on him. I don't think it's fair what they're doing to him. If you go back in anybody's background, you're going to find something that was said. Um, you're not going to focus on Martin Luther King and Andrew Young, the preacher, and what happened to me in Atlanta and who I am, and them partnering with JFK in this mind control. If you're not buying it now, what I'm saying, you will be soon, I think. You just might. Hopefully it's going to be told. All this mess. I've put videos up, so if you want to go back and see what I'm talking about, mind control and murders and Tesla files, and now then President Trump, whose uncle was part of supposedly having the Tesla files, is president. I was doing this book back in '76. Larry Flint was shot by a program shooter, just like Martin Luther King was shot by a program shooter. Governor George Wallace of Alabama was shot by a program shooter. And I'm going to tell you right now, if this is ever told, I can hear the hoopla unless the whole thing's laid out. And only God can do it. All right? That's the truth. You're going to come back and say, oh, she liked Governor Wallace. Well, you bet your sweet bippy I did. I still do. He was a man that couldn't be bought, and he was shot. And you might as well have killed him. He was put in a wheelchair, and he wouldn't sell his soul. That's more than I can say for any of you low-life scumbags up here. And yes, I'm saying this, and I don't know. Everybody loves to... it's only if you hear it all out there and you find out, like the FBI agent said, how it affects you, that you're going to come up in an uproar. It's not funny. I have spent my life these last years, beside all the other, and being kidnapped and brutalized by this country. And granted, I want to go ahead and say it, my country, not my country. Some of those, a few, had a hand in it. My own uncle, George, Elizabeth's illegal. That family knows it. They've never told the truth about it. And yes, they knew I was born, brought back into the castle. The papers drawn up were legal. And it stated, should my father have an heir, the heir would inherit. So the day I was born Victoria II, Queen Victoria II. So it moved me back in, and, well, at least for a little bit, until they kidnapped me. Now they had to kidnap me. They thought they had the problem solved. They were rid of my father. So they kidnapped me. And this whole deal about Wallace Simpson, she's buried in Frogmore, Windsor, with the rest of the royal family. And she's an American spy. They really pulled it off, didn't they? They got Winston Churchill, who his mother was an American. Thank God my mother was an American, and O'Keefe, a beautiful lady. The O'Keefes are a great family who suffered a lot in this. So I'm going to lose my train of thought. So let me just, the double married Wallace, and there was more than one imposter. And he's buried there with her. And if I die... and this isn't told, I would die in a pauper's grave. Where's my mom and dad buried? She's not buried out in, she had a home out in not Bel Air, that's where I went out when I was in the campaign, Larry Flint's. Well, for goodness sakes, in the really nice part of L.A., well, I'll come up with it when I get off here. Now then, why am I saying this? I'm going back to their, it's unreal. The day I see them handcuffed and them hauled off, and they've done that to me for trying to find a place to live when they made me homeless. Up on the mountain, they've done everything in the book to me. So the day they haul them off, and that includes Hillary Clinton, because you haven't heard anything about Hillary Clinton. Everybody's been too focused on President Trump. So, back to this. If you went back in what's been done to me, I am Victoria II. I have had every crime in the book and torture done to me and my sons. Mark and Scott heirs after me. Instead of those little hoodlums sitting over there, William and Kate, Charles and Camilla, Elizabeth and Philip, and her father, who sold his own brother and country out. And then you got Harry and Meghan, and there's a question about who Harry is, because this thing was staged. Now, I don't know if they play it out, and it never culminates like I think it was meant to be. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But when Northram, the governor of Virginia, it's how they've all teamed up against him. They did that to my dad. And my dad was the soul of respectability. That's the reason they took him out, character assassination. I don't know about Governor Northram, if that photos were taken or not. But hey, would you? No, you wouldn't like to focus on your own great civil rights leader Martin Luther King, and him getting together with JFK and company. And the thing they got to do, not just about my kidnapping, they joined together because the deal was they joined well, Kennedy was already a part of the global government that kidnapped me, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and took my father down, which allowed them to go in and take over the UK. Their whole thing was global control, and that's what they got. They were going after South Africa, and okay. Now then, during Carter's tenure as president, and I thought Carter would be the good guy. Now, I don't know. After he got into office, a lot of his family had a lot of problems. Died, or Billy, check it back yourself. So I don't know what. When you get into that capacity as president, you also have Secret Service. Now, are they for you or are they against you? Now, stop and think about it. Okay, so I don't know that enters into here. But anyway, if I don't lose my train of thought here, Jimmy Carter as president, this is all wrong here, if he's a good guy. He appointed Andrew Young, Reverend Black Minister. Am I able to say Black Ministry? I hope they tell what they've done to my father, all this. I hope they tell what they've done to me. The name, call it respect. My God, they threw me out. They have done crimes that if you have to see it, it's so shameful, so sick. And God help me, I hope you do. And what are you going to do? All these SOBs up here, your media lying, have not once mentioned it. And if it's not someone in power, they'd have to be to bring it forth. They've always known it. Your congressman, your heads of state, way back to Eisenhower, Truman, Kennedy. Eisenhower partnered with Winston Churchill. They ended up, he had an apartment in the White House. They gave him limo service because he helped take down my dad. He's honored when he's a SOB. And I'll probably lose YouTube and everything when everybody else has put all kinds of crap up here. This happens to be the truth, and I hope nobody comes to my door and knocks on it and tells me that, hey, you can't get a little loud. People that get drunk can. Well, they haven't been here, the people drunk, I don't mean, but this is the way it works. Anyway, when I was almost killed the second time, April Fool Day of 80, how many people there knew it? The press all knew it. My husband had gone with me, and then it's like he turned against me, and I had a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security involved. I thought it was because of the book I was writing, MD, A License to Kill. Okay, let me get this in right here. I don't know. I would assume Governor Northram totally has to know about me. He does have to know. I don't know that he meant anything other than what he said on this to the press, and they're making this big hoopla that he said it was him in that picture. Then he said it wasn't. He wasn't that man. Well, my father's not the man that married Wallace Simpson, and you crucified him. You nailed him to the cross, so to speak. Shame on all of you. Not just shame, I hope you have to pay for it. The way you've done me and mine, my children. And you sit up there, I'm looking at the friggin' TV, you self-righteous hypocrites. Now, they went after Northram. I mean, they're demanding his takedown. Why don't you focus on the black leaders? They know about mind control. Mary Welcome, I think, tried. She was a black attorney for Wayne Williams, the murders in Atlanta. She was going to call me to testify, and then I almost got killed again. Henry Mims was a black attorney who I liked. He represented me with Jack Hartsfield, the reporter FBI agent I've talked about and put up his letters. I mean, man, they did things to me, and I'd worked for the district attorney there in the condition I was in after they almost killed me April Fool Day of 80, so it's been an ongoing hell. But Anyway, let me just say this. I went back there in 82. My jobs were blocked again. And I left Huntsville hoofing it on. I'm serious, no money. I went to D.C. I did go on the bus. I had enough for the bus ticket up there then. Got up there, and it's bad if you're turned loose there with no one to call or a friend or, and you're carrying these papers and my book on me. I'm going to fast forward from Catherine Graham, because now then the owner of Amazon, who's the wealthiest man in the world, they say, owns it. Catherine Graham's not who, and Philip Graham, he was killed and murdered, really. And that's you haven't heard the truth about any of that. They're not the good guy, unless you think it's okay to do all this to me and and cover up the news, because I'm going to get to this. The mind control murders were the Tesla files I was writing about. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book. That was a program shooter. Now, I've just told you the others, some of them. Now, Robin Williams was one. It appears he committed suicide when it was murder by mind control, just like the Virginia Tech shootings and all, that they've done, to take away the guns in part, and there's probably another reason for all of it too. But get down to the nitty-gritty. There's not a one of them would get up there and tell about me and the crimes that have been so atrocious and sick and painful to me and my kids. My kidnapping, the taking down of my father and mother, an American. They're sitting up there. I had no respect. I've been called and I said that every crime in the book. I don't know how I waded through the muck and mire. And I do hope I get to see it done. And I don't want one of these SOBs to, not him, I hope he's good. Trump, look what they're doing to him. My God, I don't know if I hope he's not one of the Illuminati. I don't know, but they're really the press going after him. Hook, line, and sinker. They should go after themselves. They should tell about me, and I'd like Oprah Winfrey, and I'd like all these people to explain why it's okay for Meghan Markle, and they want to do all this and publicize her and all this, why they can't tell about Wayne Williams' murder and the murders. Well, he's in prison for life. They can't tell about O.J. Simpson, because he was under mind control, and yeah, that's one of them. You can prove some of these without any doubt, but they won't let it get into court because it would ruin too many reputations. And to know that you've always had a cure for cancer and all these illnesses, the Tesla files, stolen in 30, and supposedly the FBI had copies, supposedly Trump's uncle, that was professor at MIT, had them, and the Illuminati really had them. Now, why do I end up writing about this? It's going to go off. So you get the gist. They're sitting up here, and they're taking down this governor. He says he's not the man in the picture. My father is not the man that they're talking still today that married Wallace Simpson. I've already put this up. I am who I am, Victoria II, Margaret Ann Windsor. I have to use a dead person's identity they gave me, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. Carl and the real Peggy were murdered by their unwed mother, and I lived in a hellhole shack down there, so abused. Now then, not one word of this that you've heard about. Not one word about the Virginia Tech shootings. The guy was programmed to shoot himself, turn the gun on. There are a list of them, murders, and if